Hi, I'm Warren Sprouse. Welcome to the Bible Forum. I want to talk to you about when reality meets religious theory. This is an article taken from a piece written by Michael Faust, michaelfaust.com, with my comments and opinions built into it. Published by crosswalk.com. 2 decades ago, a 21-year-old charismatic Calvinist wrote a book. The book apparently seeks to create a new paradigm whereby the unmarried can navigate the courtship process in a more biblical manner. Observers claim this book has been credited with influencing an entire generation of young people who seek to honor God in this important area. Well, now, after 20 plus years, the author of this book has announced his divorce. 20-something years of marriage, and the happy couple is divorcing. And more than this, the author is now saying what he wrote was wrong. Wrong that it didn't, apparently, meet all the needs of courting couples. However, in the midst of all of this, his book, Boy Meets Girl, is today set to be republished. He's denouncing everything he wrote, but he's going to republish the book. Oh, he's going to take out some of the stories, some of the people, make some adjustment. The story goes that this man, Pastor Harris, became the lead pastor of Covenant Life Church, flagship church of Sovereign Grace Ministries founded by C.J. Mahaney. At this time, he wrote, "I Kissed Dating Goodbye." He was 23 years of age. In 1999, Harris started Sovereign Grace Ministries' New Attitude Conference for Christian singles. He was 25. With inspiration and guidance from Louis Gigolo, founder of Passion Conferences. From 1999 to 2011, he continued frequently to organize and lead this conference, although in 2009 it was renamed. It was also about this time that Mahaney and company found themselves in a public pickle as they sought to work through a sexual issue among members of their church. Without going into detail, most of which I can't remember, it was clear the leadership at the time chose to deal with this matter in-house rather than take it to the police. And it was a police matter. I talked about it on this program at the time. The criticism was justified. And if my memory serves, over the next few years, Mahaney and company relocated to Kentucky. A once thriving and vibrant ministry was left to work through the issues on their own. I spoke with one of the members of that church who was devastated. "What do I do now?" she asked. "I trusted these men, and they simply left us." Today, after 20 years of marriage, the author and his wife are divorcing. Why? Well, they say due to, quote, "significant changes that have taken place in both of us," end of quote. Now, the question here is, in 20 years, if there is not significant changes in your life, you are probably not growing. And more than this, the author is now saying what he wrote was wrong. Wrong in that it did not, apparently, meet all the needs of courting couples. So Josh's book, Boy Meets Girl, is now set to be republished with some corrections. Like what? Well, apparently this new version is going to be edited to remove some of the stories that Josh Harris used as anecdotal evidence for how well courtship works, since at least 2 of the featured couples have either divorced or are in the process of divorcing. And what about his own marriage? His wife, Shannon, is a singer and songwriter whose first album was released in 2018 and occasionally writes about her shifting views of church, Christianity, and life in general. She has hinted at feeling as if she had to bury herself while she was involved in church. Have these 40-something parents discovered they don't really like one another? That they have differing goals? Or that one or the other is just tired of it all? Have all their convictions, values, parenting principles proved inadequate? Or just not workable? Or perhaps they never really bought into the values, the doctrines, the practices of this brand of Christianity. Whatever it is, these parents are willing to thrust their teenage children into a world they're not really able to navigate. Why? Well, because they're still young, and they've been brought up in a religious, social, family environment that their parents are now repudiating. Reading the article, it becomes clear this author ran headlong into the reality young people are facing today. The author of the article that I'm using, Megan Briggs from churchleaders.com, another 30-something expert, asks, is all this the problem? Or is it just simply a big part of it? She tells us that these principles are good, they are biblical. However, they have the same feel as some of the prosperity gospel teachings. Meaning, whether it's marriage or money, if you do these specific things, then God has to bless you. When in reality, nothing in life is that simple. If it were, Christians would be the safest, richest, healthiest, happiest people on the planet. And good Christians wouldn't be poor, nor would they be divorced. One commenter observed, so the other day, Josh Harris announced that his publisher is re-releasing Boy Meets Girl. On his blog, he sought reader input for which cover he should choose for his new version. Considering how many problems have arisen out of the courtship system Josh Harris advocates in Boy Meets Girl, and considering how he recently stood up in front of Covenant Life Church and quasi-apologized for helping to create an environment where godly living was, quote, reduced to one practice, end of quote, it's rather interesting that this book is being republished so it can influence another generation of young people. Some of us just say, duh. Josh Harris even acknowledged in his apology that the ideas in my book were one of the false standards used in reducing complex issues to one practice. It seems like in addition to editing the now unsuccessful courtship stories, Josh Harris's publishers would do well to add some sort of disclaimer about the pitfalls of practicing courtship as it is promoted in the book Boy Meets Girl. This is what Christianity has been reduced to. That people who have this reputation, who have this stature, can just come crumbling down. That everything that is real about their life and ministry just comes unglued. And they can just continue. We're going to republish the book. We'll take out some of the stories. We'll rewrite some of this. We'll reposition. We'll put it right back out there again. Why? The cynic in me says because you're no longer pastoring a church and you need a salary. We'll republish the book. Nobody knows what's going on. They'll buy the book and you'll get some money. I don't know. But this is not the first wonderful idea, wonderful new idea about how Christianity or dating or marriage or any of these other institutions can be made better. Only to learn a generation later that it doesn't. When in doubt, read the instructions. They're found in the Word of God. not in a paperback. Word to the wise.